Hello and welcome back to the Son of the Morning channel. And today you're looking at Joker Harley Criminal Sanity. So this is another review here. I have all three issues that have been released so far through the DC Black Label. I've mentioned this before on another Black Label video, the Wonder Woman one, where I guess Black Label doesn't get a whole lot of love from people because it's not considered canon. So it's sort of stories outside of the regular DC world. So I don't think that matters personally at this point. There's so many different comics out there, so many different comics for each character. It's really hard to keep track of canon anymore anyway. So I think that stuff like this is especially good for people who aren't comic book readers, because it mixes fantastic art with really good writing, and I think that it's a good way to get non-comic readers into reading comics. At any rate, Joker Harley Criminal Sanity is a story where this is taking place before Harley Quinn is the Harley Quinn that we know today, and also before the Joker is the Joker that we know today. And at this time, she is a forensic psychologist, I believe, for the Gotham City Police Department. And just started off here, she's at a crime scene with the investigator, the homicide investigator, who thinks it's a gang thing. She doesn't think it's a gang thing because gangs don't do stuff like this. She has a very interesting relationship with this homicide detective, Joe Maddox. He takes credit for all of her work. She solves all his cases. They never seem to really get along. She also finds out here that they're going to be closing any of the old cold cases, which makes Harley very upset, because that means that they're closing the case on her wife's homicide 5 years previous. And then she'll show you some art, some of this just beautiful art here. Now, I'll say the present in this series is in black and white, and the art is still fantastic. But when we get to these sort of recollection scenes where it says here 5 years earlier, you can see the little bat signal up there in the sky. This is her flashing back, coming home, finding her wife dead in the bathtub. They had killed, also the killer had also killed the person who lived in the apartment underneath and his father who was visiting him. The prime suspect of it was the Joker, and now this has sort of invigorated Harley into figuring out finding the killer of her wife, finding the Joker. So she goes to start talking to people about where the first Joker killing came from. And this is just an interesting scene here. Another fantastic artwork shot. This is also the past. This guy is buying a Wayne microboard something for his kid. His kid that's what he wants. Unfortunately, his father buys it for him for his birthday. Unfortunately, on the way out of the store, some gangsters that he has been involved with find him and make him go for a drink. Tells his wife and son that everything will be fine. He'll meet up with them later. They unfortunately get into a car accident, go over a bridge into the water, where the son is saved, but the mom dies, unfortunately. So then Harley is called to investigate a very interesting crime scene that you can see here, where The killer has obviously killed more than one person here and has sewn extra body parts onto a corpse, showing some serious stuff there. So they're arguing again here. He's arguing this Maddox with Harley again. It's a funny line here. It's she's basically telling him, she's saying he thinks it's a cult, and she asks him if he ever went to art history, and he makes a lewd comment, at which point she says, ask Gordon to tell you it's Da Vinci. It's a representation of a Da Vinci thing. So then we find out that Harley's also, in addition to working with the Gotham City Police Department, she's also teaching forensic psychology. She's talking to the students about the difference between real psychopaths and stuff like that. Then she starts talking about various serial killers. And that is sort of how we come to a conclusion, with her coming to yet another crime scene. And this is a particularly gruesome crime scene that is a little bit unforgettable. And we'll get to that here in number 2. So, in number 2, you come to this is just an opening scene where it kind of looks like a Salvador Dali painting. And, you know, they go through basically that, you know, whoever did this is very good, very smart, either has surgical training or whatnot. They are also hanging the limbs to melt the fat for their sculpture. They couldn't find the head. It was because the head was smashed. So Harley wants to know, she's trying to figure out, you know, who would actually do this. So she calls the Arkham Asylum to talk to Dr. Crane, who's just Dr. Crane here, and to see if their worst psychopath had been out of Arkham in the last 72 hours, which of course he hadn't. Now, this is kind of where we start to get, I really like this scene. It's told earlier that after his wife dies, that this guy is very abusive towards his son. He wants to go trick-or-treating. He's dressed up as a scary clown. His father doesn't like the idea of him trick-or-treating so soon after his mom's death, and punches him in the face, unfortunately. But this kid's resilient. He still goes, and he goes trick-or-treating amazingly. Now, again, they show more of the domestic abuse there with the kid who was wearing a clown mask. Gee, I wonder. So then they go to the morgue here. There's nothing special happening here, and this is where we're first introduced to the Joker as the Joker in this series. And I really like how everything is in black and white except for his green hair and his lips. I think it's a really cool aesthetic. And he's here, he's wanting stuff, and this guy isn't giving it to him. He basically tells him that he can get the stuff I need or else. Harley is walking home from the liquor store, and we can see that she's accosted, but it's just her brother who's telling her that the mother is sick. She doesn't want to see her mother because of the torturous abuse from her. I guess there was a time when she had tried on red lipstick and her mother didn't like it, and you can see how she treated her here. She calls her bad names, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, there's some foreshadowing there, I suppose, to the future. Now, here we are we've popped back in time again. You always know we've popped back in time when you see a full color segment. that he's grown up now. His father is dead. I should have mentioned that. His father was actually the first of the Joker's victims. So after his father is killed, he runs away, but he is still around. He's not a missing person. Goes to high school, but he has confrontations with the jocks, and then he hacks into the jocks' phone and finds all sorts of pictures of him dressed up like a girl, kissing other boys and stuff like that, and he leaks it to the rest of the school. So that's the kind of guy we're dealing with there. And so just I'm gonna flip forward a little bit here. So we got late at night, we got Harley just pondering, thinking, what's she gonna do? How's she gonna solve these murders? How's she gonna find the Joker? That sort of thing. And of course we have just the Joker, a beautiful illustration of the Joker preparing with all of his tools of destruction there in the background. And so we basically end off the story here where she's still out there looking for the suspect. She's trying to track people down, trying to do anything she can to get more information, and the story ends with the Joker finding yet another victim. And that would be part 2, and we'll bring along part 3. Really like the cover of part 3 here, so get into it here. So Harley wants to know about this kid, the kid who was the son of the first victim of the Joker. His name is John Kelly. So she goes to Gotham High to talk to the teachers, principals, whoever. Finds out he was pretty much the smartest kid in class. If they didn't really have any friends, but there was one person that he did communicate with. That is this girl here who needs help. Nope, wrong girl. Sorry. This girl here who needs help with her math, because whereas he gets 105%, she gets 59%. So she asks him for help. He really doesn't want to. He's already sort of showing that he doesn't really care about people, but hey, he agrees to help her the next day. So Harley goes to talk to the old mortician, or I don't know what they call the person who runs the morgue, whatever, about his notes, because on the first Joker murder there was supposed to be 2 pages of notes. 1 page was missing. Even in the archives, 1 page is missing. She asks him if he has any copies. He says that he has his old recordings and that she's welcome to go through them. At the same time, we have a scene here where we now see that the Joker has taken notice of Dr. Quinn, and not good. And here we see him putting some photos in a envelope and dropping it off at the Gotham Gazette. Another absolutely wonderful illustration here. So this is just more of Harley's tortured background with her mother there. Then she's sitting up here, like I said, she's gotten the tapes. Unfortunately, none of them are labeled, so she's got to go through all of them to find that missing page of notes. Unfortunately, she's interrupted by a call by I don't know if he's Commissioner Gordon yet in here or not, by Gordon. So she's called to another crime scene, and at this point she starts to notice something. She's putting her forensic skills to use. Now, this is the latest victim and how they have been left, or arranged, I suppose you could say, and at which point she recognizes that it is Salvador Dali's sculpture Venus with Drawers, at which point she says, "Does that remind you of anything?" And they realize that this killer is taking their inspiration and is now making their victims into Salvador Dali paintings, which is very interesting. They open up the drawers, find a key, take them to the morgue. Basically, now they know that who they're dealing with, and Harley has written up a profile for the unidentified subject that they're looking for, and that's how issue number 3 comes to a close. Now, issue number 4, I believe, comes out in April, so looking forward to that. Very much like the story that they're spinning here so far. Cami Garcia's writing is really good. The art in these books is absolutely phenomenal. I would definitely say that, like I said, if you know somebody who's not a comic book fan but wants to sort of get into it, this would be the perfect sort of thing to start them off with. You don't have to know anything going in. You just have to pick it up and start reading it. It's an engaging story with fantastic, unbelievable art. Both the black and white and the colored images are both just amazing. So, this has been another comic review here on the Son of the Morning channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will talk to you on the next video.